Good evening, everybody, and welcome this evening to PSGL F10. And tonight we have reached the finale of this Formula F10 season here, and obviously another PSGL season as well. Of course, this is the third finale of the season. If you want to include Xbox, and technically, by start of recording, it's technically the fourth one to finish. We've obviously seen Formula Performance finish this season and Formula F11 to be finished very, very soon. And we've just started here for the final race of the season here in Japan. Probably a favourite for most, but some perhaps a little bit different. This is a track that is obviously very technical on the circuit, the Suzuka International Circuit, and obviously full of very, very iconic corners. And I cannot wait to really go through this race. It's one of the best tracks on the calendar, and it's included some great races as well. And of course, probably one of the best F1 races of all time, Japan 2005. Of course, probably one of the best races. Kimi Raikkonen come from P17 to P1, basically back to front. What a brilliant performance that was for the McLaren driver back long ago, 15 years ago, or even 16 years ago, if you want to think about it in an annual sense. But anyway, talking more about F10, we've had a champion crowned, of course. I wasn't here sadly last week to see it, but obviously we have seen the champion crowned now, and that is Hersey, who has come out here tonight. And he, going by what we've seen so far, Hersey is someone who can be particularly quick in the wet, but also seems to have a little bit of a tendency to have his moments in the wet, and by that I mean he likes to have a little bit of a spin. Anyway, we're on board with Stebler 55 at the moment. He's the first person to start his lap in the Alfa Romeo, and hopefully this evening he can have a good performance. Going from last week's performances, I will just go over to that. We're very, very early into the stream, so I'm allowed to talk about this sort of stuff, but early on in the stream, obviously last week, was actually Trav Formula who won his first race here in PSGL. I believe that's his first race. After three second places in a row, he finally gets his victory this season, and he'll be looking to hunt on for a second one as well this evening in his Ferrari. Hersey finished second in the end after a three-race winning streak was stopped. And third place was James Dovey, who's basically been on the podium whenever he's finished the race for the last four races that he's completed. So good consistency there for the McLaren driver. And obviously the challenger F1R Dende, who lost it last week, finished to a poor sixth place, which he will not be particularly happy about. But I'm sure he'll be looking to get back onto the podium tonight. And obviously someone who's very talkative, of course, all season. Whenever he's been on the podium, he has come and joined me in these chats and has had a nice little chat with me, which is always enjoyable. So hopefully it'll be a podium for him. But there's nothing really to lose for these drivers tonight, drivers wise. Constructors wise, we have got a big title battle for the constructors. You've got Haas, of course, on 142 points, which has only got one driver to rely on tonight, being Hersey. And you've got Williams, who've got Dende and Davy W on board for them. And talking about on boards, we're going on board with F1R Dende, and hopefully he can set a good early lap. Only two people have set a lap at the moment. Davey, his teammate, going for the intermediates, which does suggest that potentially in the near future things are going to dry up here at this Suzuka circuit. I have been informed already that we're going to be having rain all throughout tonight, with there being no dry conditions at all. So these drivers have got a lot to contest with, as we already see Hersey getting in full swing. Only three drivers though at the moment, but that's a very good lap to start off with. A 1 minute 40.2 there as the opening lap set for him. It's a nice banker to go off, and probably something that will be a bit competitive for these drivers, which does have a little bit more of a performance gap compared to, of course, Formula 1, obviously, which goes on the Monday nights. And obviously, well, it's no surprise, is it really? We're going to have a little bit of a division here, but the wet conditions just make it more divisible. But hopefully we won't have a Mexico where things are basically just one car, one by one at that point. But anyway, let's look at Dende. How's he going to do? He's finishing his lap now. As he comes across the line, it's a 41.4. So he does go into 4th place. As James Dovey currently is the headhunter at the moment at the top of the field, which is not a usual sight. Usually we're used to him being in 4th place, but he sets his opening lap as a 1 minute 40.0. So we're almost into the 1 minute 39s now. And oh, there's Alpha almost spinning there. He's not meant to be in the Renault. He's definitely meant to be in the Ferrari. So a little bit of confusion now. I think that was said in the Discord chat that he was not in there, and there was a bit of anger going on. There is definitely a bit of anger going on, and I think it's rather explainable for some people. So the yellow Ferrari driver with the Infinity logo and the Renault sponsors, driving in an Alpine similar looking car. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? But no, Alpha is meant to be representing Ferrari, but I guess Ferrari's badge is yellow, so, you know, alternate livery. Who knows? Anyway, so Alpha F1 anyway coming towards the end of his lap. Well, 7-minute lap, so definitely not going to be world beating. We'll see him come across the line and you'll see his amazing looking lap. Yep, I think he validated anyway, and so has this guy. Aero Specialist has invalidated as well. Davey W, interestingly, on the intermediates. By the looks of his braking into that corner, it doesn't look like they're quite ready for the intermediate tyres. And well, fortunately for him, he's got a lot of time for them to come in. But I'm really, really intrigued to see what Davey W can do tonight, because obviously there's something to fight for towards the end of the season still. Just because there isn't a drivers, the constructors is still up for grabs, and obviously this is one of the drivers that are involved with that. As we look towards the back here, Yigamau is, well, he's on the wets, he's going slowly. Looking at Dino then, in the Red Bull, has had a bit of an underwhelming season, I'll say. Not to be a bit rude to him, obviously. I don't mean it in a very negative sort of way, but I'm sure Dino would want to have a better season than only 5 points. Of course, runner-up in F11 last season, I believe, to his teammate CPI Black Phoenix, who I believe is going to be making his final race appearance here in PSGL. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Black Phoenix, because I believe there was something then. I don't think it is, actually. I think it was the last game. F1 2020 will be the last game he'll be league racing. So if I have screwed that up, please let me know, and I do apologise. But anyway, Dino coming towards the end of the line. Has he got anything significant to suggest he could be up somewhere? At the moment, not so much. A 43.5, possibly a mistake though on his lap. Coming towards the end of his lap now is Rika 9 in the Mercedes, and similar really in a way to Dino. Probably not the season he would have wanted, but I think he'll be a little bit more happier with his 43 points. He'll also be a little bit more happier with that sort of display there. A 1 minute 41.4 there, probably be better than Dino's 43. Would have been a little bit more interesting, but well, talk about interesting. We'll have to wait and see for the next lap. Is Jack Tyler on one? Well, he's down by 6 tenths, so I don't suggest he is. I think he's now preparing for one. Lewis, he's 5 tenths down through sector 1. So this may be the suggestion to me that we are starting to head down the route of the intermediate tyres. So soon enough, we could see Davey W close up the gap to the leaders. But we've now seen one person in to the 1 minute 39. So that's track formula, a 139.498. 6 tenths clear of James Dovey in second. So I do expect a few others to close that gap between them, whether it will be James Dovey or someone else. But yeah, Vonis on a lap. Is there anyone coming towards the end? Perhaps Dino. Yep, Dino's coming towards the end, and he's up on his lap. However, He's not using much ERS. He's using it again though here. So I wonder if he's just going for another lap here then. So let's just go on board with the Red Bull driver. Let's see what he does going into turn 1, then braking. Don't really need to brake too much here. Into the second corner you go. Ooh, and you do have to brake there, of course. Very wide out the corner. No apex hitting or anything. And then you've got obviously the famous Sector 1 of Suzuka, which is obviously just these winding left-rights. The Suzuka S section, very tricky through here. Very easy to lose the rear, particularly in these wet conditions. And off the exit there, just dabbing on the throttle a bit, trying to get as much traction out the corner as possible. He's done that. Now he's got through probably the hardest section of the circuit when it comes to these wet conditions, and through Degner 1 he's ended up just putting it a little bit wide there and invalidating his lap. So unfortunate for Dino, as he will not be able to get this lap officially in. But moving towards someone else now, we have got Dende on a lap, currently 10th place. This is rather unlike the Williams driver to be in 10th place, but track is definitely drying, so in terms of this possibly being an improvement, is a little bit more limited. I wonder if the intermediates are possibly the way to go. Davey now at 40.6, and times are definitely starting to come down. Dende with a 40.6 as well, so almost matching his teammate there as Rika comes out of the pits. And his teammate Davey, thinking about him, he's still got the same intermediates on that he started with. So that's good. He's only used one set, so that's a good thing. Anyway, Black Phoenix then, he's about to finish his lap. Where does he go? He goes 4th. This would have been a good sort of start really if Black Phoenix have had this season. Unfortunately, it's been similar to his teammates. Not probably the best, but they've been here every race, and I do have to really give that to these drivers. They have been very, very loyal and have been here every single race. And Black Phoenix is one of them, who pretty much whenever he's finished a race, he's had a bit of misfortune recently, but whenever he's finished a race, he has actually scored in every race except from Italy. So that's a very good consistency sort of bonus in my books for Black Phoenix. Unfortunately, probably not the sort of consistency he probably would have been aiming for. But in any way, it's consistency. So in terms of next season, if he is here next season, it definitely would be a good sort of ticket towards F10 again next season, or even F9, because if you show consistency is quite key. So it's not always about the pace. And I think this is kind of what we're seeing with Dende as well. Been keeping in the battle until now, of course, but because his consistency on the track, he was able to stick in for so long. Because Hersey, let's be completely real here, Hersey, he was another level for the majority of the season. But looking at this qualifying so far, it does suggest to me that potentially we are going to see a little bit of the grid become a lot more competitive here. Because Hersey at the moment, not on pole position, which for me is a rare sight. And really at the moment, he's in 4th place, so he's not even in the top 3. So this is a really good thing to see. Trap Formula at the moment looks like he's going to be rapid in the race by the looks of things. I'm really intrigued to see what these intermediate drivers can do. Here is one of them, Sticky, who's not on a lap right now. He is on a lap right now, but he's not near the finish or finishing of his lap right now. I have to wait and see though for the AlphaTauri driver, as he comes through the 2 Degners at the moment, and just going past the racing point there, going a bit slowly than you would like, but coming into the sharp hairpin here at Suzuka just after going under the tunnel. Of course, Suzuka, the only track on the F1 calendar to be figure 8. Now coming through the spoon, and hopefully it'll be a good lap at the moment for Sticky, because he looks like he's on a potentially good lap. Not sure if this is going to be pole position beating, because Track Formula's lap time definitely was a lap time that was pretty good. But now coming into the final few corners then, we'll have to wait and see. And there we go with Hersey, by the way. Retaking his top spot. And Stiggy, he goes up to 6th place as well, so brilliant. On board with Alpha, please. On board with the yellow Ferrari that looks like a Renault. Now he's coming through sector 3 anyway. He's yet to set a lap time. Well, it says 6 minutes, his lap. I'm almost certain his lap time is not 6 minutes, so I don't know if that's just a glitch or something. We'll have to wait and see, though. He hasn't invalidated. That's odd. Yeah, I don't know. It did say he invalidated, but he just started a lap, so I'll have to wait and see. Aero Specialist coming through the middle here. We'll have to look probably further forward. Who we got further forward on their lap? Track Formula's just started his. Hersey is coming towards the end, not too far towards the end. Rika's slightly up the road. I don't think Rika's on a competitive lap time though. Looking behind of Hersey though, he's not on a competitive lap time, so we could actually take the gamble with Rika. I hate this damn thing; it's so clunky. But anyway, Rika then coming towards the line. He is on a lap time. Then only a few more corners to go. Coming through the chicane right now, and we're coming towards the end point here. And hopefully for Rika, he can set a decent lap time. And he does go marginally quicker, but not enough to really say it's something amazing. Dino's coming through sector 1. Alpha's on a lap, so this time I think he's actually on an official lap. I'm intrigued to see how everything goes. James Dovey goes 3rd place. Stiggy's into 5th. Aero Specialist and Yigamal have finished as well. Black Phoenix up to 3rd place, so that's a really good revelation for Black Phoenix at the moment, up in 3rd place. What a podium would do to end off his season, that'd be brilliant for him, momentum-wise. I think his teammate, though, has had a little bit of a spin out of Degner 2, but coming across the line comes Alpha F1, who will start 12th from the grid. Lewis at the moment in 10th place. He's coming through the second Degner as he comes up to the hairpin. Who we got? Have we got anyone further up? Is Dende further up? Yes, he is. He's invalidated, though. Who's that just ahead of him? That'd be Warren Howe. Warren Howe definitely on a finishing lap. He's invalidated as well. That's convenient. Dino is on a lap. There he is. I think he spun, though. Although it says he's 9/10 up. It says he's now 1.7 seconds up. So whether he did spin or not, that may have been just Black Phoenix that was on about, but a bit odd. As there is a Renault round here. That's Warren. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way, but anyway, now looking at Dino as he comes across the line. What's he going to set? Goes P13. 2 seconds quicker than his previous lap, so obviously there was definitely a mistake going on in his previous set time. Rika goes quicker and overtakes Warren Haug. And who is left to finish? It is the pole sitter currently, Hersey. And Hersey knows he's pretty much got it now. That pole position wasn't able to be defeated by anyone. And well, once again, we'll have the Estonian on pole position, which I think will be a very, very interesting one indeed. We've not seen this before, of course, but who knows? There was probably a few others that we're just going to be seeing a lot tonight, I reckon. In this race. Anyway, Track Formula, who won last round, starts in 2nd place, narrowly missing out on pole position to Hersey, but I believe he will have the inside line, Track Formula, so he could launch an attack with a good start off the racing line. Lewis 05 in 3rd place, Black Phoenix in 4th place. Is he eyeing up a podium for today? We'll have to wait and see. James Dovey in 5th, Stiggy in 6th, Davey W in 7th, Vonis in 8th, Dende in 9th place, and Steber making out the top 10. Here is the rest of your grid, ladies and gentlemen, and interestingly, with there being, I believe, a 5-point gap in the Constructors Championship, you would have believed, with Hersey being on his own and being in 2nd place, that he would not be in the advantage here. But frankly, at the moment, if things were to stay the same, which obviously knowing this is F10, knowing that it's raining, and other factors as well, it's probably not going to stay the same. But at the moment, as it stands, Hersey will win the Haas Constructors title, and really would do it quite single-handedly. To be honest, he scored every single point for the team but 6 points. So literally someone else has contributed to Haas's points, but only 6 points in the end. So really, we could be seeing a rather interesting fight here. We've got two drivers in Davey and Dende starting in the midfield, and I'm sure they will be looking to get ahead on their rival in the Constructors' Championship to make sure they take the double home, of course. Well, as for Dende's, sorry, not the double, take their own bit of gratitude home, but obviously Hersey looking for the double. He's got the Drivers' Championship, and technically he's fighting for another Drivers' It's not the Drivers' Championship, it's the Constructors' Championship. Hopefully I've cleared that up for you all as we get underway for the formation lap. And obviously, like I said, the two on the front row would be a very, very interesting one. Very, very close between the two of them. And there is the strategy. I don't know what the strategy is in the wet, so that's actually quite helpful for once. Should be looking at a 1-stop. I wouldn't have thought a 2-stop would be good. We've got 27 laps of this glorious track, I have to say. It is definitely a track that a lot of people seem to like. And people who hate it as well. I'm sure Yigamau, for example, has got that feeling right now. He's in the Ferrari, Yigamau is, which is an interesting turn as well. I'm sure he was in the Alfa Romeo, but apparently not. I think there's been a little bit of a bug between all of them guys, which is a little bit concerning, but I don't think that's really an issue. And Yigamau's actually been disqualified from the session then. Was Yigamau moving? Yeah, he was moving, but somehow he's got himself disqualified, and no one else contributed to it. So Yigamau will have cold tyres. So Yigamau is basically almost screwed for the start of this race. You won't have TRL limitless tyres, hopefully not, minus 200 degrees. I think at that point, yeah, he'll be absolutely destroyed off the line, but he's at the back of the grid, so he's not going to lose any positions, which is a good thing, but he'll lose time. But, I mean, I'm expecting turn 1 and 2 to be absolutely chaotic, if I'm honest. Obviously, we know that for being chaotic, for being the title decider in 1990 between Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. Of course, when those two had their incident where I believe Ayrton Senna into turn 1 just went into Alain Prost, I would say. Bit of an understatement, but it really cost it cost Prost the championship in the end, and the 1990 title went to Ayrton Senna because of that. Could have been a whole different day, that one. And obviously I believe 2 years before that, in 1988, again please correct me if I'm wrong, my knowledge on classic F1 is decent, not the best. But if it was 1988, obviously that famous moment in the chicane where obviously Senna dive bombed Prost and, well, both of them were out of the race. But anyway, here we go. We'll get underway for this race very, very soon. Just waiting for the lights to come on. And here they come. And let's see who will get the run down to turn 1. Will it be Hersey? Will it be Track Formula? Lights are out and we are underway for this race. Hersey gets a good start then away. Trap Formula, a little bit of a slow start, and there's a big incident in the background there between James Dovey and CPI Black Phoenix. A little bit of nerves possibly early on there. Hersey though goes into the first corner nice and easy into the lead. Virtual safety car is out, and Lewis has got a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision. Not sure what happened there though at the start. I feel like there was just a lot of wheel spin for Black Phoenix, and that may have put him off a little bit off the start. Cold tyres can be a factor to that, but in the wet conditions it's very, very difficult to get off the line properly. So obviously for him and James Dovey, particularly James Dovey. James Dovey was a passenger, really, to be honest. And unfortunately for him, that's probably his wing off as well. Yes, it is. So he'll have to come into the pits, and I would say he's got to do a two-stop strategy now. That's probably completely ruined his race. Good news for Williams though, really, because Davey W is now up to 4th place then. Dende's up to 7th as well because of that, so positions moving elsewhere. But anyway, Hersey's still leading this race. Trap Formula in 2nd place. I'm going to be intrigued to see how people use their ERS management, because it does drain a little bit slower than it does in the dry, since obviously you're not really applying too much power to the car compared to when you're in the dry. And obviously in the wet, you do brake a little bit more and you're coasting a little bit more as well. But in the conditions, we do know Hersey to be a pretty solid candidate in these conditions, and I wonder how he'll do today. But Trap Formula is the person who is on form right now. He has had a great form recently, of course, winning the last Grand Prix, and of course previously from that getting 3 second places in a row. So definitely someone who's to watch out for tonight. But Hersey leads this race. Do not be fooled by the delta on the left hand side. It is not correct. Hersey leads from Trap Formula in 2nd place, and in 3rd place is Lewis, I believe. And as that's happening, James Dovey and Black Phoenix are the reason for this happening. This is really annoying when it does. But those two are in the pits right now, getting new fresh tyres on, and hopefully they'll have a good race ahead after it. But I mean, by the sounds of what James has put in the chat, he doesn't seem too impressed so far. Buzzing. I mean, he was a complete passenger for that. So unfortunately for him, there's nothing more he could have done, really. Couldn't avoid it or anything. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how their races go now. But Hersey leading the way. Let's look at Trap Formula on board. Look how long it takes them really to get up to speed here. It takes a little while. As gaps continue to start to climb, we will start seeing, hopefully, Trap Formula close in on Hersey. And we've got yellow flags in sector 3. And also in sector 3, we've also seen nothing much on that, so I don't know what the yellow flags are for. But looking further, we'll look further back for now to see what's happened. There's obviously something happened to Vonis here. Vonis is going very slowly. Has he wheel spinning into the wall there? He's got a bit of damage on that right hand side, which may suggest that. And Alfred F1 into the points. If I am correct, he still needs to get a point this season, unless he scored one last round. He scored one last round, so congratulations to him. He's finally scored a point this season. He's looking for a bit more than just 1 point then, which is a good sign at the moment. But he's up into 10th place there, so I'm over the moon about that one, to be honest. Vonis is slipping right back. After the grass he goes. So everyone is completely falling up and down the grid at the moment. There's a bit of a gap between beginning to form between Lewis and Trap Formula, so obviously it looks like the top two seem to be on another level at the moment. Looking towards the midfield, there's just not really much battling going on. Maybe perhaps Stiggy, as he comes through the Spoon corner, and he comes through the exit there, down to 130R, of course, one of the more famous corners, 2005, Fernando Alonso, famously going flat out around the outside on Michael Schumacher, which obviously was probably one of the most symbolic sort of moves that you could have in Formula 1, of course, where the current champion and at the time legend, Michael Schumacher, well, he still is a legend, but the GOAT, I guess the GOAT, yeah, the GOAT, Michael Schumacher, at the time, of course. I'm not going to bring up the debate who's better, Lewis Hamilton or Michael Schumacher, but it was more like passing the keys, and some says, oh my goodness, where's Steva come from? As he goes around the outside, completely missed that one. I didn't even see him coming, to be fair. He's come from nowhere. You're helping Alpha and Trap in the party. Well, at the moment, I'd say, Delta, you're doing a good job at the moment. Both drivers are doing fairly decent at the moment. Of course, Trap Formula in second place, probably where he'd want to be. I don't think that's really a bad thing, being in second place. He would love to take that second win of the season, but at the moment, he's just fallen back a little bit, perhaps conserving as well. But Alpha at the moment in 10th place as he goes very, very wide there out the exit of that corner. Needs to be careful because Aero Specialist will be eyeing up a move if possible. And speaking about someone who could possibly be making a move soon, here is F1R Dende in the 7th place currently, looking to potentially eye up a move soon on Stiggy as he continues to get closer. Obviously in the wet conditions, no DRS, so no real support on that end. It's more about the drivers and how they use their ERS, etc. In this sense, it looks like Dende's doing a decent job. Hersey continues to pump in the fastest laps. He's acting a bit like Lewis Hamilton on a Sunday, to be honest. As Dende really started to lose a bit of momentum to Stiggy now. And because of that, he's probably fell back a little bit. He needs to pick up that momentum. There's a little bit of a battle ahead that we'll need to probably have our eye on. In fact, we'll probably go towards it now because Steber obviously isn't afraid to make a move in this S section. He is a man on a journey at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. As he just backs out, I think, for now. But look at the tragedy he's getting out of the corners, though. It's absolutely immense compared to his competitors at the moment. This Alfa Romeo is really liking the race conditions compared to the qualifying conditions, which is interesting. But look at it, Davey W. He's almost right behind him now. Is he going to send it into the corner? Would be an ambitious move if he does. Davey does cover the inside there. Very insightful, to be honest. And look at it, this is more of a chance for Steber now. He's got a really good exit again. And Davey obviously compromised there, perhaps from that little bit of a wheel spin there. But again, Steber just runs out of road to potentially go alongside there. And he's got to wait a little bit longer. I'll check Hersey's ERS in a second. Let's just get this move out the way. It's almost done now. To the inside. This is interesting. F10 in at 130R. We're not going to get to 130R. It's a nice move done. Nice and easy and brilliant from Steber. So Steber is a man on the hunt at the moment, and I mean we'll hopefully see a bit more promising things from this race. And as you requested, there is Hersey's ERS at the moment. He's used around half of it at the moment. These two are just chilling out at front at the moment. No one near them, and Track Formula sticking with Hersey for now. So there's not really much going on in that sense. But look how much clear Steber's just already got away from Davey. Now that he's passed him, 1.1 seconds, and that's going to continue to climb as well. So an insane gap started to be built there at the moment. But there's a bit of a train starting to develop, not too much. Yigamal's fallen quite far behind, and well, he's not even here. That probably makes sense why. So James Dovey now gets up to 15th place, and still a long way to go to potentially be getting points today. Obviously he would have loved to have a podium, but obviously that's not going to happen. But anyway, Stiggy at the moment, 6 tenths between him and Davey W. He's closing in as well, so Davey's starting to struggle a little bit in these wet conditions. Doesn't seem to like it. It's a wet race all race round, so for Davey, he's not really going to get away from it at the moment. Looking at the points that they'll be getting, it's 10 points really between the two for the two Williams drivers. They'll be getting 10 points, and at the moment as it stands, I think Hersey wins the Constructors' Championship with Haas by 1 point at the moment. In fact, probably by 2 points, because Hersey's got the he's got the fastest lap. as Dende looks to try and close in now on Stiggy. Is he going to try and make the move down to turn one? This will be an ambitious move. He goes to the outside here. Can he get the move done? He's braking very much later. He's still alongside him here onto this corner. Can be quite difficult to go side by side through here in the wet conditions. They keep it just about on track between each other. Good sportsmanship between the pair of them, and Dende makes the move up to 6th place, and he is someone on a mission tonight. But it just does seem like that there's going to be something happening in this race, and there is something. A nice little overtake from the Williams driver then indeed. But honestly, there's a lot of action still to come in this race, and that is one bit of it. Stiggy's teammate Jack Tyler is now on the back of this train now, so a bit of a train started to develop, nothing too big between these three drivers, and Jack Tyler looking to redeem himself from qualifying, I believe, where he didn't qualify too highly, unless I've completely messed that one up. He qualified in 11th place, so he has been moving up, and he's coming up to 7th place now, and I mean, hopefully in the future could be even 6th place. But yeah, he will continue to get closer. Stiggy does close the door a little bit. Don't really know why he's really defending too much. Perhaps it's just all out. 130 Arno, nice move, easy done just before it. Again for Jack Tyler, the two Alpha Tauris not really messing around. Don't want to completely ruin each other's races up. That's good to see. There's a little bit of a battle continuing to unfold here for 9th place. Alpha's caught up to the back of Rika, making good, strong development at the moment. And Aero Specialist in 11th as well, going wide there. I think he just tried to make 130R flat out in the wet conditions, which obviously, in my opinion, probably is capable, just about, but nothing too much. As there goes Rika going wide, and that opens the door for Alpha F1. They're still going side by side. We saw this between Dende and Stiggy, but it's also again nicely done. Good sportsmanship from the pair of them, as Alpha's up to 9th place, Rika in 10th, and Aero Specialist now in 11th place. And they're still continuing to have a very, very close sort of battle at the moment. And well, I will be intrigued to see how this really escalates, because they all seem to be quite closely competitive with each other, as Aero Specialist in the Racing Point, which is obviously for F1 2021 to be named the Aston Martin. And I mean, I'm intrigued to see what the Aston Martin team does in real life, but at the moment, and again for Rika, opens the door again, a small mistake, and there we go, down to 11th place he goes. He does have the opportunity to fight back here. He has the inside line, but no, he's just going to stick behind for now. He doesn't want to cause any sort of risk. It's still quite early in the race, lap 8 of 27. It's got a long time, but he would want to stick with him, however. But yeah, let's go and find something else. Perhaps let's stick with this battle just for now, actually. As perhaps Aero Specialist looking to get Alpha as well into this first corner, rather breaking the same. Alpha going a little bit wider, but gets a decent exit to recover it. As Aero Specialist looking definitely in sight of 9th place. Stiggy's lost loads of time. Has he got wing damage or something? Doesn't look like it, but that could be a possibility, because he's losing a lot of time to the leaders ahead of him. As well, Aero Specialist at the moment. He's definitely looking to pile on the pressure, isn't he, on Alpha F1, and Alpha F1 is just seeking ahead just for now. And into the corner we go, and hopefully, Alpha having a little bit of a moment, a little bit squeamish off the end of that corner. We saw that with Davey a couple of laps ago, which compromised him with a move for Steber, I believe. But that one wasn't so much, and also Aero just sticking behind for now. Yeah, not in a rush to get by at the moment. I think he's just being a bit more patient, sitting behind, just waiting for a rightful mistake to happen. And looking further behind, Rika starting to fall back a lot. Warren Haug is also quite close to Dino. I'll keep looking at that just quickly. I don't think there's going to be a move made just yet. It'll be quite a surprising one as Stever comes into the pits for his first pit stop. So his one and only pit stop, I would presume. Is he going to two-stop is the question. An interesting strategy if so, as there goes Aero Specialist going well off the track there. For good merit, picking up a penalty there off the end of it. Warren Howell at the moment fighting for 11th place with Dino. Yeah, at the moment these two just being cautious around the track. No real fight really going on. And well, that's the thing. Haven't got a little bit of a battle at the moment. Would be nice to have. A lot of gaps though beginning to open up. Well, at the moment, there's a big gap though between the top four, etc. 7 seconds now between Lewis and Trap Formula. So obviously, it looks like Hersey and Trap Formula are in their own league at the moment compared to the rest of the field. Could be wrong. I'm just intrigued to see what Steber does in this race. He seems to look very, very quick on his old intermediates. His new ones look a bit better as well. So I'm intrigued to see actually what Steber does in this race. He could do more than what we perhaps think. And potentially gets his first podium of the season. Well, it would be his only podium at that point. The Rika now coming across the line, 3 tenths behind. Not 3 tenths behind Aero Specialist. Aero Specialist is 3 tenths behind Alpha F1. And Alpha's time in 8th place may be coming to an end shortly as Aero Specialist is closing up to him. Maybe a small mistake from Alpha. Not much to compromise his position. It does sacrifice him time, which is probably annoying for the Ferrari driver, but he's in a Renault. At the racing point, Aero Specialist is just sitting behind at the moment. I think that's what we're seeing quite a bit in this race, is that we'll be just sitting a few people. Just be a little bit more patient, I guess, cautious. Don't want to make any mistakes. Of course, the wet conditions do usually mean that it could be more spacious, and also a lot of people being more cautious and therefore probably not intending to look for moves. Which obviously, with that, it does make the action, I'm afraid, a little bit more lackluster, I'll say. But we should see some action soon. Usually towards the end, drivers start to get a little bit more desperate, perhaps. Hersey and Trap are getting close. Well, I'm gonna have to counter that one. It's 2.5 seconds really, and that's gone up recently, so possibly could be in the near future. But it seems to be the gaps continuing to gain. As we see Dende. Yeah, Dende 1.1 seconds behind. Aero Specialist 6 tenths behind still. Alpha F1, those two continue to battle quite a bit. Nothing again being overtaken at the moment. As Warren's struggling there for a bit of grip. Dino taking a rather interesting route. As there's Black Phoenix. He's not had a very good day, has he? Unfortunately, for what could have been a really, really good day for Black Phoenix. Started 4th. Could have gone on for a podium, but unfortunately, yeah, his race is pretty much done and dusted, and he's already retired from the race, to be fair. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not really had the day he probably would have wanted, which is quite unfortunate for him. Starting to get pit stops now. Here comes Trap Formula into the pits. Again, rather early, I would say, considering a lot of other drivers don't look like they're considering it. The track formula, I think, will come out in a really good place, perhaps. Well, others have pitted, so that's helped his case. However, he would like to come out ahead of that AlphaTauri coming close to him now. I think he has done, which is good to see. Aero Specialist also into the pits, so I'm intrigued to see what track formula does now. Now that he's come out of the pits, he's made his pit stop, and he'll be looking to close in. Alpha F1 in 6th place, he stays out. One more lap, he's quite close to Stiggy at the moment. Not very close though. But now I think we'll see a rather interesting one now. It's Hersey. He's got a yellow fuel meter things, which does suggest that he actually underfueled the car. So for Delta's sake, that's a good thing for you, is that Hersey's underfueled the car, so eventually track formula could potentially be quicker than this man towards the end. As Hersey obviously will have to conserve a bit more. And Trap could potentially use that to his advantage. But Hersey in the lead by 10 seconds. He will pit this lap, I reckon. As here he comes. We'll have to wait and see really when they come out. Track formula, I reckon, will be pushing. He is pushing definitely on the straight, using all the overtake available to try and push close enough to potentially cause a little bit of troubles for Hersey. Hersey's still in the pits. He's still just about moving. Remember, he's near the end of the pit lane. So if anything, he's not got long to go towards he's out of there. But here comes track formula, and there's Hersey on your screen then to the right. So he does come out ahead, does the Haas driver. But I tell you what, track formula's got a rather interesting claim as he has closed, well, dramatically up on the Haas driver. So really, we could see, if potentially things go his way, we could see a really good finale to this race. Another interesting one to see how Lewis copes with these two drivers ahead of him, Warren and Dino, on the older intermediate tyres. With these tricky conditions, overtaking options will be limited. And for Steber, I don't think Steber's early pit stop really worked for him. Unless he made a mistake or some sort. It's not really worked, has it? With Davey and Dende coming out ahead of him. That probably wasn't in, and Jack Tyler actually getting ahead of him as well now. Probably wasn't in the plan for the Alfa Romeo driver. As here comes Lewis getting very, very close to Warren Haug. Maybe trying to potentially eye up a move after this corner. Be looking for a little bit of a mistake. Doesn't get it. He's got all the overtake in the world though on 100 come the exit of that corner. But we'll just have to wait and see as he comes through 130R. Flat out, nice and easy. Ooh, had a little bit of a shake there, but it looks like these drivers are going to be quicker. As almost for a moment Lewis just going down the inside. That would have been extremely ambitious, but Dino comes in, so that at least that's one driver not to deal with. But Warren stays out, and Warren goes to a more defensive line, but the slipstream does work wonders here. Does Lewis go to the inside? Does he go to the outside? A little bit of a squeeze there if he's going to make it around the outside. And annoyingly, he's got a bit of a dilemma unless he gets this move done. Towards the inside now. He'll have the outside line to do this move here, and it's a nice and easy move there for Lewis. He's got away with that one. He's up to 3rd place then again. Warren still has to pit, but that could have been a little bit of a disaster for the McLaren if it wasn't executed properly, but it seems to have worked out just fine for him. Now we've got the Williams duo in 5th and 6th. Quite comfortable. Relatively comfortable. They've still got Jack Tyler on his way behind, who looks to be closing on Dende, and obviously then that would be the case for Davey W as well. Steber behind 1.1 seconds, 1.0 seconds, 1.2 seconds at the moment, so really just flirting with within the within the 1 second mark at the moment. But the Alfa Romeo driver probably not enjoying his new tyres. He seems to have dropped off the pace compared to everyone else. As here comes Dende then, he's just marching at the moment. Closing to his Williams teammate. I wonder if there'll be a swap for position actually after this corner. On the straight really. And here we go then, overtake on then for F1R Dende. I think he's just going to sit behind for now, so Slipstream just working a treat for these two, I reckon. As Dende just positions his car nicely. As Davey has a little bit of a snap the exit that corner, but again, these two just working slightly nicely behind each other. But at the moment, as it stands, Hersey will win the race. Trap Formula needs to really bring out something at the moment, I think, because at the moment Hersey is pretty much coming away. He is drifting away. But obviously, we'll just have to wait and see at the moment with everything. But at the moment, looking further forward, Hersey 2.3 seconds clear at the interval. And then 16 seconds behind is Lewis. So a humongous gap, really, between second and third place. So what that tells me that Trav Formula and Hersey are in a league of their own. They probably, in my opinion, if they've obviously signed up, that is, they probably are going to potentially be in F9 or even possibly F8 next season. I would definitely make the bold claim about Hersey being in F8, definitely. And Trap Formula, I think he's showing that he has got the pace to possibly compete as well. So, really is a possibility as Warren Howard finally comes into the pits, gets those 16 lap old intermediate tyres off. Does suggest to me that Steber is going to the end. But with the Inters really staying on for a while, I don't think we'll be moving to the wets. But yes, a bit of a concern for the drivers now, as Dende does go further behind his teammate. Looking a little bit back, Jack Tyler at the moment 8/10 off. And Steber also within that second mark. Well, looking further back, we've got Stee at the moment in 9th place. Again, there's not much action really to go off, unfortunately. So I do apologise if I seem very tired or anything. And this is not really towards these guys, of course. We cannot blame them. The conditions are awful on this game. When it's raining, the skill gap obviously changes quite dramatically. And obviously it's not really the best conditions, but at the moment Stiggy at the moment 5/10 behind, as he will look to close in on Alpha at the moment, and Alpha at the moment is on for more points. He's on for 3 points at the moment, so a very good display from the Ferrari Renault driver. It's a Ferrari powered by it's a Renault powered by a Ferrari engine. Perhaps I don't know what dynamic would be best. Ferrari with a Renault engine or Renault with a Ferrari engine. You decide, but in reality you probably want the Renault engine with the Ferrari branding, to be honest. Anyway, Stevie then in 9th place. He's quite close to Alpha F1 at the moment. And 4 attempts between them. But Stiggy just sitting there behind. He's not really doing much. As he's just waiting for the right opportunity to strike at the moment. And he's just falling back again for Stiggy at the moment. That's another thing that is just happening, really, is that Stiggy just falls back a little bit and then has to wait a little longer. But yeah, it looks like gaps are beginning to close though now. Interestingly, got this little train here with 4 cars. I think Steber's been able to recover since he had a little bit of issues behind these guys. But he's still not challenging him at the moment, as Jack Tyler picks up a 3-second penalty. Definitely wouldn't want to see that, but F1 Ardende at the moment, 9/10 between him and his teammate. Really at this point just protecting his teammate. He knows he hasn't got anything to play for drivers wise, so why doesn't he help just his team out? I think it is a team game, obviously, of course, looking for the constructors, which could still be won. And yeah, well, of course, still, it's a possibility that we can see the constructors be won by either Williams or Haas. At the moment, it's 8 plus 6 points, which equals 14 points to Hersey's 16 points. But Hersey needs a 5 points advantage. It'll be 17 points, actually. So, as it stands, Williams win the constructors by 2 points at the moment, with the drivers all secured up. But Haas at the moment still looking likely to potentially have some sort of gratitude here, as here comes Steber on Jack Tyler. He was looking very, very close to him. He hasn't quite got it though there to pull off the move at the moment, but I think that's really the only move we've got on the cameras right now. Perhaps this one as well. Battle for 11th place. Not much really to be won here, except for just an advantage just to be on track at a higher position. But going into this corner, still side by side. Warren stays there. Is he still there? Yes, he is. Wow, that's a really good battle in between these two. And in fact, he's almost ahead again of Dino. Still there. Have a little bit of a collision there. They're still going side by side though. I think Dino has won the battle on this one. Has a little bit of a slide out of that corner. Suggests otherwise. It looks like Warren, though, is just going to stick around for now. Just not be too much. We've got a yellow flag. That would be James Dovey going out of this. And look at this, going side by side for Jack Tyler and Dende here. Dende falling behind just a position. He's gone a little bit more deeper, though, to potentially make the move. He hasn't done that. He's just going to stick behind. He'll need a good exit. He's not set himself up well for it, though, as Jack Tyler gets a decent exit. Steber also quite close in this battle as well, so things are starting to light up here in this here. And finally we got something to talk about, and what I think we would be able to talk about is if actually went for it there, Dende, and oh, Steber's in the wall. Oh dear, Steber. I think he was just trying to follow these guys. It's not really worked out. I don't think he's lost his wing, so really a really lucky incident there. That was very, very unfortunate. But Dende, I think, has just fell back a little bit on Jack Tyler, and he'll just wait a little bit longer as requested. Check Hersey, there he is. If you want to know his ERS, it's 67% and fluctuating between that, so he's got a lot really to get rid of and dump in these next 6 laps, but he's looking comfortably in the lead, 2.7 seconds clear. That's not to say, though, track formula can come raging back. It looks like Dende now is starting to lose a little bit of momentum now that he's conceded a position to Jack Tyler. In fact, the other way for the AlphaTauri, he looks to be potentially taking an opportunity and a half to potentially come forward. That is Warren Haug who will be in the wall then, unfortunately, or would have gone off the track for Renault. I wonder if him and Dino have had a little bit of a scuffle again, as he's now behind Aero Specialist. I think Vonus has not had a race to remember. Oh, we've got a safety car. Oh, okay. So Warren Haug, I think, has just binned it in the wall. it looks a little bit suspicious, but it is the final race of the season, and well, we have a safety car here, and Trap Formula has come into the pits here. And why is he being held? Oh, okay, he wasn't held. I think it was just an internet thing. But this is a rather interesting strategy now. It's because Hersey's here. And I tell you something now. Hersey will not have the fresh tyres. Trap Formula will. And Hersey can't come into the pits without conceding position now. Because he's behind the safety car. So for Trap Formula, this is a brilliant possible opportunity for him to take another race win. Davey W and Dende in 3rd and 4th as well. Moving up positions as Lewis decides to take the fresh new intermediates. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The race, not only just for certain positions, but now for possibly the race win as well. Wow, it's really lightened up. Could we see Trap Formula take a 2nd win of the season? Could we see Dende take the win tonight? It will be unlikely for him to do that from 4th place, but or could it even be someone like Lewis or Davey W? I'm looking at Davey here because if Hersey and Trap Formula have a particular moment and opens the door for the Williams, which we've seen into turn 1, doors opening is definitely likely because this track is so technical that mistakes is so imminent for so many drivers. In a way, I'm intrigued to see really if Davey can actually win a race this season. He's got a podium, it was in France, but ever since then it's been just Mr. Consistent really for the Williams. He hasn't had a podium since. But could we be looking potentially at a podium, or again, like I said, could we be looking at a victory for Davey and for the Williams team? It could be a possibility. He'll need a fair bit of luck though, because he's got a few more laps remaining to potentially have that. But Hersey at the moment will be the leader going out of the exit of this, but I'm sure Trap Formula will be seeming a little bit more ambitious to potentially go that extra step further. Now he has the fresh tyres on, he'll be looking a bit more confident than the guy ahead of him, and perhaps a little bit more doubt will start to creep in for the Haas driver as well of Hersey. So it will be a definite interesting, I have to say, interesting thing to see what happens. And well, possibly in the near future we could be seeing a new winner, or we could be seeing the return of Trap Formula winning a race. And eventually, of course, you know what. But anyway, Hersey then, he will be the person to get us back underway eventually when it will. But yep, again, things seem to lighten up. And oh, Alpha got damage. I've just seen that one. That is such a shame. He's in 10th place at the moment. I guess your advantage is though, however, Delta, there is only 14 cars available, meaning that he has to only drop like 4 positions to... There's only 4 positions below him. And also, as we have seen already, overtaking is just quite difficult, to be honest. But we'll just have to wait and see as safety car still continues to potentially. We'll have to wait. Was the wing damage big for Alpha is the question. It was definitely worth getting a new wing. But the good thing is for him is actually that he will come out only in 12th. So in terms of if he can overtake, it would be a good possibility. But yeah, Hersey at the moment seems to just be chilling out. And Trap Formula obviously probably going to be waiting for the right moment to strike. But he's also got to worry about Davey W, who I think will be looking at feeling a little bit more hungry in this opportunity to potentially win a race. But I mean, I say that, but he's got Yigamau to deal with first. Because unfortunately this game is absolutely brilliant. And obviously we have now a car that is a lap down ahead of him, and you cannot overtake that lap down car that is obviously in the way. So Trap Formula will be just in a focus sort of phase right now, with 3 more laps to go. I mean, that's the good thing, isn't it, James? You know, you got all that pressure from driving and everything. Now you can just sit down and just say, well, hey, you know, I'm not driving anymore. Just chill out and watch the stream, you know. There's always some good bits, isn't there, to retiring from a race, let's be honest. When I retired from Mexico the other week, obviously I helped my fellow F7 friend out, Bryn, to a victory in that race, and he won quite convincingly as well. But I helped him and supported him with that one, so I'm always up for a help with that sort of thing. So yeah, it is always a good thing though when you do retire, if you can potentially substitute it with something. As Hersey really desperate to get on the throttle, that may compromise him a little bit. Here comes Trap Formula then in the slipstream with the ERS. He's looking for it. To the inside he goes. Don't get too desperate into the corner. Does back out of it, but Hersey looking all over the place at the exit with the wheel spin. But Trap Formula at the moment very close behind. He's just missing out though at the moment for now. I tell you something for now, this race is not over. 3 more laps to go, and I know I've sounded pretty dull for the majority of this, but I tell you what, now things are about to get really interesting up and down the field. Trap Formula on the fresher tyres, on the better tyres theoretically. He'll be gunning with the ERS as well. He'll be gunning to get ahead of Hersey at this point. Hersey at the moment just ahead of him. These two are very close at the moment. Davey's fallen back quite a far bit. We expected that. He was on the older tyres. That's why I suggested if potentially there was a chance of obviously the top 2 crashing out, it could be a different scenario. But he's got to deal with this man. Lewis, what's happened to Dende? Dende's in 4th place. I've got all confused now. Davey's there, Dende's 4th, and Lewis is 5th. There we go. We sorted it out now. I thought Lewis was in 4th for a moment, so got a bit worried for Dende, but Lewis in 5th place, he's just behind, and behind him is a lapped car, but we've got a little bit of a spread here, and then you've got obviously Jack Tyler, Rika, and this man Steber getting very close to Rika at the moment, very close indeed, and out the exit of the corner, just has to lift a little bit just for this, and he does send it down the inside. He's looking desperate for a move. Probably wasn't the best idea. He was kind of half and half of that, but you know what? He's going to sling it right back, and you know what? He's going to get the move done. Not entirely just yet, though. He's going side by side through the corner. They're making it 3 wide, you know, and I know what? Stiggy's coming in for the fight as well, and he's coming in to potentially get 6th place. Is now, I don't even know what's going on. Steber is 7th, Stiggy's 6th. Rika's almost dropping down to 10th position here, so a lot of things going on. Another big thing going on is Aero Specialist in the wall there. So that's basically his points gone. So a huge lapse of concentration. Probably lost for the Racing Point driver, which has cost him really big time. But here comes Alpha F1, really wanting those points, really desperately going for those points. And you know what? He's pretty close to them indeed. He's got Dino ahead of him. He's definitely got a better exit there. If he gets a better exit here, he's definitely got the opportunity. He does get the better exit here, but Dino just about gets away with that. Is there going to be ascending down the inside for Alpha? No, there's not. You do see the tendency of people doing that, and they can seem kind of greedy. So He's just being patient for now. Is Alpha F1. He knows that obviously he's got a lot of time to make this move. Just make it at the right time. Do not make any mistakes, and that'll be the best thing, as he'll get to the line quite well. As Alpha has actually got a pen, which probably hasn't helped him. Oh my goodness, all of them on 3-second penalties, so they're fighting for position technically, in a way. Obviously, I don't think they'll get any higher than 6th place. For Alpha, that is absolutely disastrous, because it would have really meant a good position for him. So he really, really needs to potentially now look at something else and try and get by. But now here comes Trap Formula. He's getting very close. He's almost out of the ERS though, which is such a problem. On the final lap, you need to make sure you've got that security, and at the moment, he currently does not have that. At the moment, Davey is on for the podium, unless Dende, I know how Dende, he was desperately looking for a final sort of chat of the season, so I think he'll be looking to get by, but also Davey looking for his second podium of the season to finish off the season. Will be doing wonders for the Williams team, as they are literally on point now to potentially win the Constructors' Championship. So 3 drivers go home happy, really, with championships at the end of the day. Does Hersey have warnings? I do not know. I'm not going to check it, because it is a suspenseful moment. If he does get a penalty, that would be rather magnificent from this point. I'm pretty sure it would just be a dash to the line now for the Haas driver. I won't be worrying too much. But there are gaps really in play here. Davies fallen back quite a far bit, but at the moment, Dende is quite close. Lewis is quite close to Dende as well. No overtake's going to be made though, really, for all of these, but the 2 drivers at the front have been the class of the field, as here comes Jack Tyler really aggressively looking to squeeze by Lewis. These 2 continue to go side by side. Lewis still continues to be quite squeezy with these 2, and we've been waiting for this all along, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably not good from Jack Tyler there. I'll have to really question that one. That was not really good for him. Hersey comes around the final corner. He's going to win the race. We'll have to sort that controversy out later, but Hersey is the winner of the final race of the PSGL F10 season. Trap Formula in second place for what both drivers were very much the standout drivers of today. Davey W picks up 3rd place then to end off his season. Jack Tyler in 4th, controversially there. It's a little bit interesting. What's happened to Dende? Why has he slipped down several positions? Does anyone know what happened to Dende? Because he slipped down from 4th to around 12th in about basically towards the end of the race. We'll have to see that one in a minute, but Hersey, he wins the final race of the season, and he just about beats his, what would have been a really close rival towards the end of the season, Trap Formula, who's had a really close run-in with him, to be honest. Very good performance from both of them, and Davey on the podium for the first time since France, so he'll be very happy with that, and a very, very good podium to see there. All 3 of them. Smiley, of course. What do you expect? But what happened to Dende? I think F1's glitched him. F1's glitched him beautifully. Anyway, Hersey is the final winner of this PSGL F10 season. Expect to see him on the Sunday nights next season. Trap Formula, again, probably expecting him to see him on Sunday nights as well. In second place, Davey W finishes on the podium in 3rd. Jack Tyler in 4th place. Stebber 5th. Stiggy in 6th, Rika finishing 7th place in the end, Dino in 8th, Alpha F1 finishes 9th, 2 points for him. He'll be very chuffed with that one in the end, but I had to see that one because, again, Dende, I have no clue what's happened to him. Anyway, Lewis in 10th, and here are the drivers outside the top 10, and again, what on earth has happened to Dende, I do not know. He most certainly was not a lap down. I think the game has screwed him over. So for Alpha, I think it is going to be 9th place for him because of that. But yeah, that's a rather strange one in terms of for Dende's sake. But if all goes to plan, if I am correct now, and Dende is actually here, probably to discuss with me about that one. Davey's also here, and well, I'm going to actually start off with the 2 Williams drivers, really. I'm going to start off with them. First of all, if the game has not decided to unrecognize something, you guys are constructors champions for the season in the end. So congratulations. I don't know what's happened. If anyone could disclose, because Dende for some reason was put all the way down to 12th place, and yeah. Yeah, it said he was a lap down,
Yeah.
so I don't think it was
I checked my
legitimate.
race director, everything is clean, no penalty, everything is recorded, I sent it in. But it doesn't matter anyway, even if I would crashed out, David went on P3. Massive big ups for the Williams team here.
Yeah, and obviously constructors champions. Have you two been working closely with each other all season? Sounds like you two have been pretty close as teammates, which is good to see.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole race we stayed behind each other and just tried to keep it clean, like didn't do any stupid stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of
But
teamwork going on for you two. And obviously now you're constructors champions and everything. I didn't really get. Oh, there goes Trap Formula. I think he, I think he's forgot that, you know. But anyway, with that, is there any ambitions for next season? Have you both signed up for PSGL next season, or have you decided? I'll start with Davey as he did get on the podium, but I'll also move to Denley in a second. Yeah, that must be very, very annoying. What about you, Denley? Have you signed up for next season? And what are you expecting as well from that, if so?
yeah, signed up for next season as well. You're looking forward to drive with Davey, actually. I hope they put us in the same tier, no matter which one it is. I really enjoy driving with every single person here on the grid. Everyone was driving so well and nice and clean fights. So really hope they put us in the same tier and we can have another great season. So enjoyable driving with David in the party. He's calming me down because like I'm losing my temper every now and then in the race. Like Tyler as well, he did this move against me after the hairpin and touched me. And I was like, Tyler, what are you doing there? Just leave me alone.
I mean, I've already heard about that. I think it was last week. There was something in the chat too with that as well, which was quite funny. But with that, have you signed up for all days then, both of you? I think Davey's already said that. Have you signed up for all days or? Mm. Yeah, you should definitely get a full-time seat. It's very nice to see drivers attending pretty much every race. It just shows great dedication, and obviously it is highly appreciated from obviously PSGL and obviously just everyone really, as it just shows your dedication and your loyalty to show up. For Dende, a quick question: if you're in the same tier as Hersey next season, do you reckon you'll be having a few more battles with him on the track, or meeting him a few more times on the track, or do you reckon?
I don't. Mate, he's so quick, like, you know, the safety car came out and David said Trap is going to the pits and I already thought, oh great, now I'm having P3 and David has P2 and he was miles ahead of us. So I think Trap and Hershey are just a different level, like us old guys, it's so tough to like improve as well. You have to work and all these things besides. So I think I'm pretty much at the limit where I'm with my driving right now, but really happy with it. And I don't need wins and stuff. I enjoy the podium just because I have to chat with you. And I just like the driving in this league with David in general. If it's P10, P3, P5, I love PSGL. It's so well organized. Everything is fast forward. It's just great to drive here. I really enjoy every weekend. Yeah, every week.
16. Yeah, it was 17. Yeah, brilliant driving from you all. Obviously, there's not really much more questions I really had to ask. To be honest, of course, it's the end of the season. I can't really talk about the next track. I mean, I could talk about the next track next season, as you are both joining it next season. And well, of course, obviously, we're unlikely to really be starting practice or anything for it. But Bahrain Short, what's your sort of opinion on it?
David, you go first. Yeah, pretty much the same for me as well. Watch Limitless Opmer driving the track. I never had it in a league race so far. So really looking forward for a new track to drive in a league race. For sure it's going to be super exciting and really close because like there are not many hard corners where you can do mistakes. So it's going to be a close race in every single league for sure.
Yeah, and it will be a very interesting one to see all the different sort of strategy and plans for it all as well. Obviously, as it being a 100% race, but with that, guys, obviously it was the final race of the season, and we finally got to the end. To have had an amazing season really together, and obviously there's definitely a team bond there, and suggesting that you two are going to be together again next season if you get the opportunity to. So I wish you good luck for next season, because you both have had your potential really to really show off, and yeah, you seem to have a really close bond, and yeah, hopefully you can return to the top step of the podium soon next season. Yeah, thanks for
Definitely, I
that.
can't stretch it enough, Sam. Seriously, like, thank you so much for all the time you spend every week. Like, even though you missed 2 or 3 races and you've always been so apologizing for it, but mate, like, thank you so much. And I really want to have you as a commentator then probably, but you would well deserve a higher tier.
Yeah, thank you guys. That means awfully a lot. But we have to close the show off at one point, don't we? And well, it's been the F10 season. It's been actually quite a roller coaster of a season. Obviously, we've seen developing stories at the start with obviously YouTube Marion. We know without him, and obviously Jack Tyler. We've seen a lot of rivalries. We've seen a good championship battle for the majority of the season, and we've ended off with the Estonian driver of Herzi becoming the champion. However, Dende gave him a really good run for his money, and obviously, of course, Track Formula in the end, of course, come in quite close up as well and really put in on a show. But with that, we had to really summarise the season here, and we'll have to say goodnight for now. And thank you for the two Williams boys who joined me in the commentary box tonight to give me a final straw interview, which was really, really nice. And I guess we'll see you next season in season 28, which will be beginning in a few weeks' time, again at Bahrain Short. That will be beginning on the 23rd of March with it's not the Formula Performance for that one. That will be also a new sort of thing brung in. I'm not sure what it is just yet, but be interested to see that. Obviously, PSGL isn't over just yet. We've got Sunday, of course, and Monday as well with the other tiers. But for me, Sam, the commentator, and the two guys that joined me, Davey W and F1R Dende, Good night.